The implications, I think, are that we may very well end up with a U.S. Supreme Court test on the question of whether or not a city, any governing board whatsoever can limit what young people can see when no sexual acts are involved.
In other words, language.
Right. We are only language is involved in this show, and that's the only reason that we voted it not suitable. And the question before the court will be whether or not this is an undue limitation on the rights of young people, so to speak, or the community as a whole.
Of course, you won today in court. You're able now to enforce the not suitable rating that you originally designated for the film, but you had to go to court to do it. It took time, it took staff from the city attorney, it took effort, it took money. I'm wondering, wouldn't it be a lot simpler for you, and wouldn't you like it more if the board itself had ultimate authority virtually over enforcing these ratings that it hands down, instead of having to go to court to force them upon certain distributors?
Absolutely not, Jim. Bear in mind that our ordinance has only been tested in court 3 or 4 times. We rate about 1,000 movies a year that are never challenged by the distributor. So I think on balance that when you have 2 or 3 challenges, it's not that significant. But more to the point, I think the system today worked perfectly. Here we are, a group of citizens trying to set what it thinks to be the public morality for its young people. Now, our only test of whether or not we are properly doing our job is a good jury. And today, an unbiased jury, without having to hear why we voted it not suitable, saw that show, on their own saw that show, without any argument whatsoever by us to defend what we did. And they came back and said, you know, you're right.
Mr. Smith, the board, movie classification board, is made up of 15 members, a select group of citizens from the community, and yet they of necessity have to set themselves up as an arbiter of taste in a community that includes maybe as much as a million people. Don't you ever worry that they're out of touch with the actual tastes of the community?
You bet we worry about it. And I was worried about the show today until we got the jury verdict back. And had the jury verdict come back today wrong, against us, then, you know, our standards would have been all out of kilter. But the way we get the feedback, Jim, is through such victories as this today, and also through going to PTA meetings, through going to other organizational meetings where we see what the community standards are.